Welcome back to Young Tripp Reactions. The next video we're going to do is Woman Says She Hates Men. Her mother treated her brother better. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Join the Young Tripp family. If you have any videos that you run across that you want to hear me react to on the channel, post it in my community tab or send it to me through direct message over on Instagram. If you have anything personal going on, any violations of civil rights, police misconduct or injustice, send me a direct message over on Instagram and we can talk about that over there. If you have any, like a civil rights attorney on the case, similar to Ben Crump or Ben Crump himself, or someone like that, that's great too. If you have activists already on the case as well, but you just want another activist to join to help bring even more awareness and get your story more out there to try to get the situation solved, send that to me through direct message over on Instagram, like I said, and we can talk about that over there, and we can try to fight to get your situation handled that you or a relative or a friend or somebody is having. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family, and let's get into this.
I, like many other women, have a really hard time trusting men, and I realize I have a very deep-seated resentment towards them. I've always wondered why, because I've never been heartbroken by a man. I've never really been that hurt by a guy in my life, and I've always wondered, why do I have this kind of deep-seated resentment and hatred and some very negative core beliefs surrounding men? And as a 28-year-old woman who has an avoidant attachment and has never been in an official relationship, this is something I'm obviously actively trying to understand.
Never been in a relationship and you hate men. Never even dated anybody, for real. And you hate men. Okay, let's continue.
And work through attachment and has never been in an official relationship. This is something I'm obviously actively trying to understand and work through. But one thing that has greatly helped me is looking back at some of the first men or guys in my life. So that would be my dad and my brother. My dad, I have the best dad in the world. I will die on that hill. I am such a daddy's girl. He is the best dad in the world. But my brother, on the other hand, that is a very interesting relationship and dynamic that I have with him. He's my older brother, and for some context, I'm the oldest sister, so it's him, me, and then I have two younger sisters. I was raised by a covert narcissistic mother while my dad traveled a lot for work. So the children were mainly raised under my mom's care, obviously, in her mentality and philosophies and just beliefs of the world. And because of her covert narcissism and just being an Asian immigrant in that culture, the eldest boy, he was the golden child. He could do no wrong. He was my mother's favorite. She worshipped the ground he walked on. She kissed his feet like he was a king. I was her scapegoat. I was her punching bag as the eldest firstborn daughter.
This is the AC device my team spent 3 years building because every air conditioner on the market kept letting people down. Every cooling solution has the same fundamental flaw, and nobody was fixing it.
I became her therapist. I also became her punching bag. She kissed his feet like he was a king. I was her scapegoat. I was her punching bag as the eldest firstborn daughter. I became her therapist. I also became her punching bag. I became her helper. I became the mother. I had to step up and fill roles that she clearly fell short of. And my brother, all this time, did nothing.
So wait a minute. She's trying to figure out why she has this built-up resentment towards men, all right? And I'm going to get to the whole thing, and I always like to give credit, so I'll leave a link down in the description back to her. She's trying to have a conversation. She's never been in a relationship, a real relationship before, as she just admitted. Her father is a phenomenal person and played a great role in her life, and she adores her father. Her mother, which we got to get rid of this word narcissist because it's overused, and I don't think that people truly understand what the meaning of a narcissist is, and they need to look it up because we just using it for anything that we don't care for, that we don't agree with a person, right? But she says, let's just use her words, her mother was a covert narcissist, whatever that means, right? But obviously she still took care of her kids because you grew up as an adult and you're able to do what you need to do and you wasn't abused. But you felt like she fell short of some things and that she worshiped the ground that the son walked on. And so now you use that as built up resentment. And I'm assuming that she's probably going to say that maybe the son isn't as successful or his defense mechanism or something like that. I don't know, man. I'm not sure. But ultimately, she started off the video by saying that she has a built-up resistance towards men. So if your mother is the person that caused the problems in your life based off of what you described, and the father is a phenomenal person, and the children, right? The children are just being raised. They just trying to figure it out. Y'all all in the same boat together. I don't know if she's the oldest or the youngest. I don't remember what she said. But the children...
She's the first oldest girl, but the second oldest. So she has a brother that's older than her. Just to refresh your memory, Anton. Yeah, I kind of agree with Anton about people got to make sure they understand what a narcissist really is. A narcissist will play games with your mind. When you realize that they're doing something bad towards you, they'll try to turn it around. I had a narcissistic supervisor out at one of my jobs that I was at, and he would act a certain way towards me regarding my condition. He would make me feel some type of way or try to get me to feel some type of way because, regarding my condition. When he also would bother other people at the job. I'm not going to get into all that, but let's just say he was harassing them, as in female staff, romantically, trying to get them to be romantically involved with him. And his significant other to have like a three-way type relationship, allegedly. But he would always pick on me about like my condition, or if I would say something to him about these two employees from another country that worked with me, because as people know, I have a culinary degree, and I was at this job doing a lot of prep stuff, and and I was also trying to get on the line because I went to culinary school, and a lot of jobs try to sometimes act funny about letting me on the line with my eyesight condition. And so when I would go to him, because the employees, the husband and wife, these two employees from another country are husband and wife, and when they would talk about me, oh, I should be grateful that the company even allows me to work here, or say things like, well, in my country, as the wife said one time, a person like you would have been unalived because of your condition and stuff like that. And he was so eager just to try to defend the husband and wife, and was telling me that if I keep running to HR about the husband and wife, that he was going to try to get rid of me and all this other stuff. And then in the next minute, he'll be in my face trying to play as my friend. And so that's what narcissistic type stuff is. The person, they'll act like they're your friend 1 minute, and then the next minute they'll be trying to attack you, put you down to equal, and then try to spin the narrative to everybody that it was your fault, that it's you that's the problem, not necessarily them. That's what narcissistic is. Narcissistic will go and sit down with somebody else and say, no, it was really them. They did this, they did that, or oh, if they only would have did this, or oh, if they would have listened to me, this would have not have happened, blah, 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 blah. That's what narcissistic is. A lot of people will just, like Anton said, will spill narcissistic as that just because something didn't go your way, that this person is a narcissist. No, a narcissist, again, kind of like I just described, if they are doing something to you and they know they did something to you, and then you go and try to go tell somebody like their boss, or go and tell one of your friends if they're your friend, and then you go tell you go tell another friend what the person did, then they'll try to spin a whole narrative to your friends about no, they was wrong. That's not what I said. That's not what I did. Blah 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 blah. And come to find out, it really is what they said and did. But they want to go spin a whole narrative to the other person to try to get everybody on their side, to try to get everybody against you. That's what a narcissist does. And that's what a narcissist is, because they want to try to get things to go their way. That's what a narcissist is. A narcissist is not how she said, oh, well, I have a narcissistic mother. Maybe she do. I mean, I don't know her mother. But again, people have to understand and know what a narcissist really is. Every time I would go and talk to my his boss about what he was doing, he'll find out, he'll say, where young Tripp went. He'll say, where Tripp went. Oh, I think he went downstairs somewhere, like from the floor where all the food is cooked at, and I went down to where all the offices is at. And then next thing you know, he's down there standing outside the boss's door with his ear pressed up against the door, trying to hear everything that I said. And then he'll hear that the conversation is ending, and he'll zoom out the door. I had somebody actually watch him do this. This is how I know this, right? And he would shoot out the door, shoot all the way back upstairs, back up into the kitchen, like he was never even there. And then he will wait for me to go back to work, go downstairs, go see his boss and say, what did Tripp want? And then he'll say, how do you know Tripp was even down here? The boss would say, oh, well, he wasn't upstairs in the kitchen anymore, so I just assumed he came down here. Well, what would make you think he came down here to come talk to me? Were you doing something you had no business doing? Why are you worried about him coming down here talking to me? You know what I'm saying? And then they would be like, well, did this person come down there and talk to him? And then it just led to a whole bunch of different things, and you kind of put it together that he really was a narcissist, and the company eventually got rid of him. But that's the thing of what I'm saying. You have to understand what a real narcissist is. I didn't even know what a narcissist really was until I met him, and until somebody else that I met that was at that job with me, who said that, they were married to a narcissist, and that they knew a lot about a narcissist, and they were able to teach me a lot about a narcissist. So I know how to scope out a narcissist now, due to my coworker friend, and about her being married to a narcissist, and that this particular coworker of ours, the supervisor, the executive chef at the time at the job that I was at, was an actual true narcissist. So people have to make sure you understand what a narcissist is. You need to run across people who actually really been around a narcissist to really know what a narcissist is. And like I said, again, I'm not saying her mother isn't a narcissist. I don't know her mother. But again, like I said, people have to make sure you really know what a narcissist is. I've dealt with a couple of them in my life, maybe about 3, and they've all been at a job. So, yeah. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. Let's continue. And they were all supervisors. Crazy.
Are just in there. They just trying to figure it out. Y'all all in the same boat together. I don't know if she's the oldest or the youngest. I don't remember what she said. But the children are just in there. They just trying to figure it out, and they just trying to work it out. Right? And you now feel a certain type of way towards men as a whole. Yo, why don't these women, honestly, and I'm just keeping it 100, why don't these women just straight up just say, yo, I just don't like men?
Can this company use your house to try out their radically simple new roofing technology? They're looking for homeowners with invalid...
Whatever it is that's within me, just keeping it 100. Why don't these women just straight up just say, yo, I just don't like men? Whatever it is that's within me, because this is a choice. I can look at a woman and say, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to hold you accountable for your bad choices, but that doesn't mean that I hate women. And we've become so sensitive as a society, as a culture, to where we'll now describe or paint a picture that a man hates women if he doesn't necessarily agree with their cultural norms or society's definition of how women should operate, or if they get too far away from what I think is traditional family norms, right? Doesn't mean that you hate women. It could mean that you hate the behaviors from the women that are the most vocal or loud towards what's happening in the culture. You can hate the way that they vote. You can hate the way that they treat their children when they have children out of wedlock. But, I mean, let's be clear. Let's be 1,000% clear. Whatever it is that she just painted, that is no reason and no excuse for you to sit here and say, I have a built-up resentment for men. But maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm off. Let's hear the rest of what she has to say. And maybe I've completely missed the boat.
My older brother, the one I cried out to for help, the first guy in my life, that the first person I looked to for help, because my mom was abusive. She was never safe for me. My dad was always gone. So my big brother was the person I looked to for safety, for comfort. And I never got that. I was always shunned. I was always shut down. I was always ridiculed. I was always muted. And I realize now his survival mechanism as the golden child in a household with a covert narcissistic mother, in order for him to survive, he had to stay avoidant. He couldn't protect me, because if he protects me, he goes against my mother, and my mother is the caregiver. And as children, we do anything to stay safe in the eyes of the caregiver so that we can survive. So my brother turned into an avoidant, passive person that is scared to step out, while I became very masculine. I became the achiever. I was the athlete. I was the first to move out. I got the big job. I was the achiever because I never had that love. And at the same time, my house was so harsh. I became masculine to survive. And that resentment is still something I'm working on, because on paper, if I look at the accomplishments, and I know this is not the way I want to be thinking, because I don't like to go by the world standards of success, but that's why I'm working through this resentment. On paper, I have done a lot more than my brother. I have done a lot more courageous things in my life, I think, and he has stayed small and avoidant and never really healed with his trauma. And
I'm still trying to understand, because she's doing a deep dive of his life. Never mind the fact that she's basically throwing him under the bus on social media. And anybody that may know them or know that he's her brother, I'm pretty sure that he didn't put all of this information on the internet, but she's using an excuse to say that she is resentful towards men in general to basically throw her brother under the bus. I'm still trying to figure out the space or the part where, you know, she can logically say that, yep, I have a resentment towards all men, even though she's never been in a relationship before. But we might get there.
Because of that, me being masculine and doing all these achievements and doing so much, but never, ever getting the love or approval from my mother, while my brother was allowed to be feminine and soft and do nothing and be the golden boy.
I'm trying to figure out why she's throwing her brother under the bus, similar to what Anton already said. I'm trying to figure that part out. Let's continue.
And get all doing so much, but never, ever getting the love or approval from my mother, while my brother was allowed to be feminine and soft and do nothing and be the golden boy and get all her love. And that has greatly affected my negative core beliefs surrounding the male species. And obviously I want to heal. My dream is to one day.
This is crazy. She needs to go to therapy. She needs to go see a therapist to help her of her trauma of realizing that her mother is more attached to her brother. That is her first child, her firstborn. You parents should be attached to all their kids, and I'm sure her mother has a form of attachment towards her, but it's not on the level that she wants it to be on. But every person has a very, very deep attachment, love to their very first child, even though they love all their children. But it's like, this is my firstborn. This is like my very first child, like that I ever had. And I have this deep attachment, to them. And as parents, you should make sure that all your children feel your love and your attachment, even though they already know that, the firstborn is the firstborn, and that's the first love outside of the person that you had a child with. And the other kids have to be able to, understand that. You know what I'm saying? Even though you love all your kids, your firstborn is your firstborn, your first memory of a child, your first everything regarding your own child, and all of that. So it's like she's like have this type of feeling of like, I wish I was the firstborn. I wish that I was my mother's first everything out second to my father. And ma'am, you were the second kid for a reason. And I believe that your mother possibly, I don't know because I don't know y'all, but I believe that your mother loves your brother and you and all of your other siblings, your other two sisters, all very much. It's just that she has a very strong, deep attachment to her first child and built this big bond with him. And that's great. You have to sit down with your mother and talk to her, possibly go to therapy and sit down with each other with a therapist and say, hey, I think that we should work on our attachment together to build it to be a better bond and build a better relationship together as mother and daughter, where we can be on the same level as my oldest brother. That's something that you should be talking to her and a therapist about, not sitting here on social media venting, putting your brother on blast, talking about, oh, he's basically just a little baby. Oh, my mother still takes care of him. Oh, I became the masculine man, really. Even though I'm a woman, I'm masculine. I do all this stuff, and he's basically a punk. He don't do nothing. My mommy still take care of him. Blah, 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 blah. What? No. You should be talking to a therapist, and with your mother, y'all should be sitting in a room together across from a therapist with you, the two of you sitting on a couch and, inside of a therapist's office and talking about this with a therapist about trying to strengthen and improve your relationship, since that's what you want. Not sitting here on social media blasting out your brother and your mother. How is that going to help you get a better relationship with your mother or your brother? By you blasting them on social media. Women is something else. Women are something else. This is not going to help, ma'am. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, join the Young Tripp family. Let's continue. If she wanted to vent, she should have vented to a friend offline.
Being a very healthy has greatly affected my negative core beliefs surrounding the male species. And obviously I want to heal. My dream is to one day be in a very healthy, secure, happy, joyful, loving marriage. But in order to do that, I need to work through some of these deep-seated questions and resentment that I have towards men. And that really helps me connect dots when I was like, I've never been heartbroken by a man. All the guys I've dated have treated me pretty well. Like, why? Why do I have this hatred, this deep negative core belief that I'm not going to say it out loud, but I'm working through my resentment. And when I connected the dots of my first experience.
So she was resentful that her brother was treated well during their growing up with him, and so that's how she justifies her resentment towards all men. And even though the men that she's dated, they've treated her great, her father's treated her great. Yo, people, honestly, I just truly believe in my heart that most people want to be victims. They want to be victims.
First experience
first world problems,
men, or the male species, was my big brother. And that was not a good relationship. And to this day, he's still very passive, feminine, avoidant. And that is because of the dynamic we grew up under. And I pray that he finds healing one day. But unfortunately, we are not that close. And every time the family gets together, it re-triggers that anger and resentment and those core beliefs. Because again, when the whole family's together, he's getting all the praise, mother loves him. And here I am. And
she resents her mother.
Love.
Because her mother loves the son.
Bro, this is crazy, yo. You should want your mother to love your brother. You should want her to love you as much as well, too. And that's where, like I said, this is why you should go to therapy to speak to your mother about this. But she could say, daughter, I do love you. I do care about you. Maybe I should work on showing that to you more. Your brother is my firstborn. Everybody has a deep attachment to their firstborn. You are my secondborn. I do love you. If you don't really see me showing it, I can work on that better. And that's why we're here with a therapist and we are talking about it and all of that. But being online and telling everybody and throwing your brother and your mother under the bus is not the way. You should go to therapy with your mother first, work on that relationship, try to get it to where you want it to be, then go to therapy with your brother, work on that relationship and get it where you want it to be. That's what you need to do. That's what you should be doing. Not being here online, telling everybody, throwing your brother under the bus, throwing your mother under the bus. How is that going to improve your relationships with them, man? This is crazy, yo. She needs to go to therapy. Let's continue.
So part of his obviously
resents her mother.
Love.
Because her mother loves the son.
So part of it obviously is decentering and still healing that mother wound. But I thought the aspect and the angle of why I am still so wounded in the male department, and why I have such a negative core belief on them and the male species in general, that was really interesting, realizing it came from my brother.
Don't have kids. Stay to yourself. Go your own way. And that's the lesson that I get from this. There's nothing that you can do that ultimately will be enough for any of these people. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.
Advertisement, y'all. She needs to go to therapy. She needs to go to therapy with her mother and sit down with her mother, explain how she feels and what she's going through with a therapist. And then she needs to go to therapy with her brother, her older brother, as well, too, and try to work on that as well, too. Before doing that, she could try to talk to them individually and then try to talk to them together first. And then if that doesn't work, go to therapy. But I think for her, the best option is to go to therapy because she got a lot of stuff going on. And I think a therapist is going to be the best way for this family to get through this. And it's not even the family that's the problem. It's really her. And so for her to solve her issues and for them to help her as a family, they need to go to therapy. First her and the mother, and then her and her brother, and then all three of them. Because she has a great relationship with the father. And so I don't see any reason for him to need to go. But As for the mother, the daughter, and the brother, yeah, they need to go to therapy and sit down so then she can explain what's really bothering her and try to see if they can solve that as a family with a therapist. Let me know what y'all think. I'll have the original video pinned at the top of the chat and in the link in the description. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and join the Young Tripp family. I'll also have my Instagram at the top of the chat in the pinned comment and in the link in the description at the top of the chat as well, along with the original videos, video. Also, if you run across any viral videos that you want to hear me react to on the channel, post in my community tab or send them to me through direct message over on Instagram. If you have any situations involving violations of civil rights, police misconduct, or police injustice, send that to me through direct message over on Instagram. We can talk about that over there. We can talk about if you have an attorney similar to Ben Crump or Ben Crump himself on the case, or other activists that you may have involved, and I could possibly look into joining your activist team to try to fight for whatever you, a relative, a friend, or somebody is going through involving injustice or just any situation involving mistreatment. Again, make sure you send me a message about that over on Instagram. Also, make sure you come follow me over on Instagram because I post over there as well too. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification and join the Young Tripp family. And this young lady needs to go to therapy. Yeah, definitely before she considers really being in a serious relationship with anybody. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.